Hello, the purpose of my video is to share the results of research that was conducted by myself and Danielle Vaughn. We conducted a study on the perceptions of rural police officers and what they thought about the resources that they currently had concerning the mentally ill. This is a big problem in rural areas because of the lack of resources, the resources that are available to rural agencies. These rural agencies are in a unique position to make a big change in their communities with the right guidelines for their officers. Rural officers were asked questions concerning how they handle the mentally ill in their community. There's 33 total: Upshur County Sheriff's Office, the Henderson County Sheriff's Office, and a few from the Ore City Police Department. Some of these scenarios were based on their real life calls that they take and some of the things, and were given dispositions to on what they would do for their calls. The policy recommendation based on the results of the study would be to, one, hire a mental health officer to handle calls for service concerning the mentally ill; two, train patrol officers specifically on the major signs and symptoms of mental illness; and three, divert the mentally ill from the jail. The reason why is because the mentally ill are have been criminalized, and the jails are basically overrun with the mentally ill. So the survey consisted of 4 real life scenarios that the police officers would encounter when they're performing their duties. In each scenario, they asked the officer to choose from 4 dispositions. Those are: arrest the individuals, refer to a mental health facility, involuntary transport to a mental health facility, which is called an emergency detention warrant, or release to a responsible party. So every scenario that was asked had the same dispositions, and they were asked that question based on whether they what decision they would make based on their current resources, and then again after imagining they had unlimited resources. So considering the current resources, more than 55% of the rural officers would prefer to take the mentally ill to a mental health facility over any other option. But when considering unlimited resources, as you see here, 63% would refer to a mental health facility. This shows that um, when officers have access to mental health facilities, they're more likely to take the mentally ill to those places. Only 9% would do an involuntary transport. 25% would release to a responsible party, and only 3% would arrest. Other questions were asked about whether or not their perceptions basically on the mentally ill. One of the questions was that it is officers believe that it's their responsibility to deal with the mentally ill. So when you look at 55% agree, and then another 10% strongly agree, and the 19% neither disagree or agree, you see all of these officers do feel like there is a strong need for them to, is their responsibility to deal with the mentally ill. Essentially, only 16% do not believe that law enforcement should be involved with those types of decisions. So one of the reasons why officers think that are for a shift in these perceptions after after they've imagined unlimited resources is because uh, uh, if a rule officer really believes that they can get the help that they need for uh, the mentally ill, they would more than likely work to divert them from jail. Another a belief of the rule officers was that there's a problem with repeat calls for service when concerning the mentally ill because um, there are no resources to refer the mentally ill to, and it's just a reoccurring problem that they have to deal with on a regular basis, and the problem never really truly gets dealt with. The study, since it was conducted in a very small sample, there could be some sampling errors. Also, the results are not generalizable because there could be other factors that determine like such as size and proximity to an urban area that could possibly cause the other rural officers in other areas to have a different perception of their resources. It just really depends on the demographics of the rural area. So again, the recommendation is to be increase the training for the patrol officers, hire a mental health officer because those are the experts, and to divert the mentally ill from the jail system.